Hey guys, what's up? This is Hellsing920 and it's time for the epic interview. Yes, folks, it actually has been quite a while since I have done one of these, but, you know, even though I don't have the internet here right now, I still feel that I need to entertain you guys with a little something. So, this is my Q&A series where you guys send in questions and I pick out the ones I can actually do something fun with, and I try to answer them to the best of my abilities while attempting to entertain you guys. So why don't we kick things off with our first question?
What will you do on your next birthday?
Well, this actually is kind of a funny thing now. I am answering this, and my birthday is just a few days away, because my birthday is on September 14th. So, what do I have planned? Nothing. Seriously, I have absolutely nothing planned because I never plan out for my birthday. I usually wait until midnight, when I officially, when my birthday officially starts and I drink a bottle of Smirnoff Ice. That's pretty much it. I'm probably going to watch a movie or something, or I'm probably gonna go through my DVD collection, find like a small stack of movies, and just spend the day watching them. That's pretty much my plan. And some people actually have said that they want to send me stuff. Well, hey, by all means, let me know, and I can give you my address. You can send me, you can send me birthday gifts if you so wish. Hey, that would be kind of cool, but hey, again, you don't have to, because shit, you guys don't even fucking know me. So, but seriously though, when it comes to my birthday, I have nothing planned. Seriously. So, why don't we check out question number 2, shall we?
What comics do you read and suggest to your fans?
Okay, well, I'm going to assume that this question's asking about more current comics, and that's kind of an issue because I haven't really been keeping up with a lot of current comic books, and that's mainly because I keep hearing about the crap that's going on with Marvel and all their constant attempts to reboot and fix shit, and it just sounds stupider and stupider with every friggin' turn. But there are 2 series right now that I am currently reading. I actually go down to my local comic shops and I, pick up a copy whenever I have a chance. Those 2 are the Deadpool Corps, which is a fantastic series. I do highly recommend it. And the other one is from a company called Dynamite Comics, and it's the Green Hornet. The Green Hornet is written by Kevin Smith. And the story behind that is that Kevin Smith, who, some of you might know him as the, director of movies like Clerks and Mallrats and Dogma and Chasing Amy. And he was scheduled to write and direct a Green Hornet movie. And that kind of sort of got scrapped at some point. And so he's now taking the script that he had written for that and he's changing it up and modifying it a little bit. And now he's releasing it as a comic book series. I believe they're up to, it's either issue 6 or issue 7. And what I have read of it so far, and I have every issue I can get my hands on, I think that it's a fantastic series. And the Deadpool Corps, well, it's Deadpool. It's fucking 4 or 5 different versions of Deadpool all teaming up, and they actually just finished their first story arc, and I thought it was funny as hell. Beyond that, now the only other real recent books I've been catching up on are, I've got the first 3 issues of Deadpool Wade. It was Wade Wilson's War. I still have to go out and get the 4th issue of that. And I don't know why I was this stupid. I have a subscription to WWE Heroes. I believe that the biggest reason why I have a subscription to that comic is because I knew it was going to be shit, and now that I have the books, I can cover them in the Long Box Chronicles at some point. Trust me, those comics are complete and total garbage. And going actually back to now, or actually not going back, but speaking of the Longbox Chronicles, a lot of people say that they want to help out, and the best way to help out, guys, is to donate bucks. If you guys honestly have a big recommendation that you want me to cover, you're just going to have to send me the comic books. It really doesn't matter if it's the single issues or if it's a trade paperback or a graphic novel collection of them. That is the best way for me to hopefully cover them. This is actually now so that way you guys know if you want to do that, you are more than free to. However, though, as of right now, like I said, current books, those are my recommendations, are Deadpool Core and the Green Hornet. And as for back issues, I would be up here for hours probably talking about all of the great back issues that I could easily recommend. So you guys just have to keep on tuning into the Longbox Chronicles on Blip, and I'm actually going to start putting the older episodes onto YouTube at, some point. You guys are just going to have to, watch those, and if you happen to hear me recommend something, that's probably a pretty good endorsement. So, with that said, why don't we move on to our next question?
Why do you dislike the Beatles?
Yes. A lot of people actually have been asking this. Why do I dislike the Beatles? And the simple answer is they just aren't my type of music, And I have a broad range of music that I happen to listen to. I listen to everything from rock, pop, jazz, country, classical, bluegrass. I listen to everything, with very few exceptions. And while the Beatles do have a handful of really good songs, I'd say like a dozen songs maybe that I am able to truly listen to and say I love these. Everything else to me, it just doesn't sound right. It sort of sounds a little bit off. And the songs that I happen to like from them are things like 8 Days a Week, Eleanor Rigby, Help, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Twist and Shout, and my favorite Beatles song is Maxwell's Silver Hammer. I personally find that song to be funny, awesome, and clever. I just love that song. But honestly, guys, like the only real answer that I can give about why I dislike the Beatles is just that they aren't my kind of music. That probably sounds kind of sort of cheap and shitty, but that's really the best answer that I can give. Why don't we move on to our next question before this gets any more awkward?
Which video game were you most disappointed at after playing it?
Now, honestly, I happen to say this a lot. I am expecting a lot of hate mail from this one. Simply because I know the kind of people who watch my videos, and some of them are a little bit on the, reactionary side. The one game that I have played that I've been the most disappointed by is a game that almost everybody said should have won Game of the Year, and I believe actually did in a few cases. Batman Arkham Asylum. Let me attempt to explain, alright? The issues that I had with this game. First of all, I thought that the writing was a little bit iffy. The writing was kind of shit. That story would probably have worked better as like a 4-issue miniseries published by DC Comics instead of a 6-hour video game. And by the way, that also is another issue. That game is criminally short. And the fact that there really is no replay value is kind of sad. The boss fights. Almost every boss fight is so bland and by the friggin' numbers, it's painful. All right, exactly how many bosses do I have to square off against in that game where I just have to dodge their really simple pattern and strike? I happen to remember doing that at least 3 times. Poison Ivy, Bane, and Joker. The fact that Joker is the final boss, and the only thing that I have to do is run around like a fucking moron for about 30 seconds, and then wait for him to jump up on his pedestal so that way I can grapple and yank him down 3 times, is kind of sad. I was actually hoping for a challenge in these boss fights. And when you're not following a ridiculously simple pattern, the bosses are piss easy, such as Zaz, one of my favorite Batman villains to be created in the last 25 years, and in yet another piece of visual medium, Zaz is screwed over. All right? They actually took his character and said, screw that, we actually are just going to make him a gun-toting hitman in Batman Begins. And now he is a villain who you fight twice. Both fights last 1 hit. I kicked him in the first fight, and I threw a batarang at him in the second. That is kind of shit. And the fact that not only do you have to fight Zaz twice, you have to fight Scarecrow 3 times. And out of all 3 times, there was only one of those segments that I actually thought was any good. And I'm actually going to attempt to explain the one Scarecrow segment that I thought was cool. And it is where you walk through a door and suddenly Batman is a small child. He's a young Bruce Wayne. He starts walking down this hall, and the hall begins to warp. It begins to transform into Crime Alley, and you hear audio in the background of Bruce's parents being shot and killed. They basically ran through they basically ran through his origin as he's walking down a hall. And I thought that was one of the best moments in the entire game. Now, going back to some more of the problems. Besides the fact that the writing is kind of shit, the voice acting felt a little bit phoned in. I mean, okay, sure, it was really cool that they had Mark Hamill and that they got in Kevin, Conroy. It doesn't help though that neither one of them sounded like they cared about what was going on. They both sounded like they were there simply to pick up a paycheck, and that kind of sort of killed a little bit of the fun for me. And also the fact that it's a semi-open world game and the map is like criminally small. You have a ton of backtracking, especially if you're trying to do one of the 2 side quests. One of them is just mindless item collection as you're picking up, audio logs. And the other one is a mixture of mindless item collection and solving really piss-easy riddles. Yeah, Riddler was completely wasted in that friggin' game. And, with all those problems mounting, the one thing that just bothers me is how could this thing be considered a Game of the Year candidate? I mean, I have played much better games, and frankly, I really think that the only reason why everybody was clamoring to this painfully average game is because it's Batman, and Batman's had this awful record of video games, and this one is one that truly stands out, and that is what a lot of people say. And I look at other Batman games. Well, I look at one other Batman game. That one being the rise of Sin Tzu on the GameCube, PS2, and I think it might have been on the Xbox also, which was a fun little beat 'em up title. And I thought that one was awesome. And it to me is leaps and bounds better than Arkham Asylum. So guys, that is going to do it for this installment of the Epic Interview, and if you guys have any questions that you actually want to ask me, and trust me, a lot of you guys do, and a lot of these questions are kind of old, and I'm kind of sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions to ask, by all means, send them in, and I'll hopefully be able to use them. So until next time, guys, this is Hellsing920 saying take care. And I'll see you all in the near future. Peace.